Are you ready to jump into the action? The first matchup of the season between the Raiders and Chargers promises to be an unmissable spectacle, with an intense battle on the field. Raiders Nation, get ready for Week 1, where expectations are high and the rivalry is at an all-time high. What can we expect from this clash between these two teams? How can the Raiders overcome the Chargers? Discover the biggest challenges and key strategies that will define this thrilling matchup. In this article, we'll break down the details of the matchup, exploring the Chargers' strengths and weaknesses, as well as how the Raiders can turn the game around. We'll look at the Chargers' new head coach, the standouts from both sides, and of course, the keys to a Raiders victory. Get ready for an in-depth and engaging analysis that will have you excited before the game even starts. If you are a true Raiders fan, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more updates. The start of a new season is always exciting, but nothing compares to the anticipation of the opening game between the Raiders and the Chargers. What's at stake? Everything. Rivalry, honor, and the chance to start off on the right foot. This game is especially important for the Raiders, who are looking to establish their presence in the first round. With the recent coaching changes, both teams are trying to find their identities. Can the Raiders find the balance on offense and defense to stop the Chargers? And how will the Chargers perform under the leadership of Jim Harbaugh, their new coach? For fans, this is more than just a game. It's a battle where emotions run high, and any mistake could cost you dearly. Are you ready for this war? Who do you think will come out on top in the first round? Let's find out together. With Jim Harbaugh taking over the Chargers, that could all change. Known for his aggressive, physical mentality, he is ready to transform the team. But will that style of play fit well with the current Chargers roster? Harbaugh's philosophy has always been clear. Control the line of scrimmage, strong defense, and a ball-running offense. He wants to see his team dominate the field, imposing its power from the start. With Justin Herbert leading the offense, the Chargers now have a potent combination of talent and strategy. However, the Raiders have a unique opportunity to exploit this transition phase. If they can pressure Herbert and block the run game, they can force the Chargers to become one-dimensional, something that could play into the Raiders' defense's hands. Do you think Harbaugh will be the deciding factor in this matchup? The battle in the trenches will be crucial to the Raiders' success. The performance of the offensive line will determine the pace of the game. Can the Raiders protect their quarterback and open up space for the running game? Last year, we saw how the Raiders' offensive line struggled against opposing defenses, especially against elite pass rushers like the Chargers' Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. If the team doesn't find a way to counter this pressure, history could repeat itself, with the Raiders' quarterback constantly getting slammed. The key for the Raiders will be to establish a solid running game and protect the pocket. This will not only give plays time to develop, but it will also ease the pressure on the defense. Will the Raiders' offensive line be up to the challenge? The answer could determine the course of the game. If there's anyone on the Raiders who can make a difference in this game, it's Maxx Crosby. The defensive end has been a real terror for opposing quarterbacks, and against the Chargers, it won't be any different. But he'll need help from the entire defense. The Raiders' defensive line will face one of the best tackle duos in the league, with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt protecting Justin Herbert. Can Crosby and his teammates, such as Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson, break through that barrier and consistently pressure Herbert? The key for the Raiders is simple. Keep Herbert uncomfortable in the pocket. If they can pressure him and force him into mistakes, the Raiders' defense could be the key to an upset victory. Maxx Crosby is up for the challenge. Are you? The Chargers lost some key pieces in their receiving core, but they still have talent to watch. Who will step up in this crucial matchup against the Raiders? With Keenan Allen out of the lineup, the team is counting on rookies like Ladd McConkey and veterans like DJ Chark to fill the void. McConkey, in particular, is a player who could cause problems for the Raiders' defense with his speed and ability to run precise routes. Will Nate Hobbs and the Raiders' secondary be able to neutralize these receivers? This will be a pivotal matchup that will determine the pace of the game. If the Raiders can contain the Chargers' aerial attack, they will be one step closer to victory. With Jim Harbaugh at the helm, expect to see a Chargers offense that emphasizes the running game. They want to dominate the line of scrimmage, control time of possession, and wear down the Raiders' defense. But will that work against a Raiders defensive line that appears ready for the challenge? Players like John Jenkins and Adam Butler will need to be at their best to contain the Chargers' ground attack. If they can close gaps and force the Chargers to pass the ball, they could throw Harbaugh's game plan out of whack. This clash between the Chargers' running game and the Raiders' defensive line will be one of the most exciting points of the game. Who will come out on top in this physical battle? If there's one thing the Raiders need to address urgently, it's quarterback protection. Last year, we saw the Chargers' defense shut down the Raiders' offense with 7 sacks in a single game. That can't happen again. With a talented defensive line, the Chargers will bring pressure from all sides. Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa are names that any quarterback fears. Is the Raiders' offensive line ready to handle them? Protecting the quarterback and avoiding silly mistakes will be essential for the Raiders to have a chance at winning. They need to adjust their strategy and make sure their offensive line is on top of its game. If they can't, the Chargers will dominate once again. Every great game has its stars, and this game will be no different. Max Crosby for the Raiders and Justin Herbert for the Chargers are two of the biggest names on the field. But who else could steal the spotlight? Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs have the potential to turn the tide for the Raiders. Adams, with his ability to break down defenses with spectacular receptions, and Jacobs, with his strength in the running game, are essential to the team's success. On the other hand, Herbert, with his strong arm, will have to find ways to exploit the Raiders' defense. This battle of talents is what makes the game so interesting. Every move can change the course of the match. Who will be the hero this time? The season is just getting started, but there's already a lot of anticipation surrounding the Raiders. With a new head coach and a number of roster changes, what can fans expect from the team this year? The matchup against the Chargers will be a big first test. If the Raiders can overcome this hurdle, they will be ready to aim higher this season. But a loss could raise questions about the team's ability to compete against the best. Regardless of the outcome, this game will be a clear indicator of where the Raiders are and where they can go. Do you believe this is the Raiders' year?